Right now at 5, Crawford County Democrats organized a protest in light of President Trump's recent executive actions on mass deportations.
And we've got another mild start out there and another warm and sunny day. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a 10-year-old from Joplin took a trip to the Grammys. We'll share his special journey.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday, February the 3rd, not March the 3rd, not April the 3rd, but it is February the 3rd. But the weather here over the last several days would really have you think it is like March or April at this point. If you, I don't know, maybe you slept 3 or 4 days in a row and you're waking up and maybe you think you actually slept 3 months in a row. So. But this will unfortunately come to an end, and on the end of this is what could be an unpleasant situation, but that's still a couple of weeks, about a week or so away, and we'll worry about that when it gets here. But today, going to be another amazing day. Let's start with a look outside in downtown Pittsburgh, and it's still dark because, well, the sun hasn't come up yet, but outside of that, it is quite mild this morning. Got a pretty good start to the day. Our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin looking pretty good as well, and we'll head over to the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, also looking good this morning as folks get their day underway. Oh, and one last stop. See, I go away for a couple of days, and KDOT's turned this camera the other way, I think. We're now looking back to the southwest from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. They don't move it that much. I mean, kind of like MoDOT. They don't really move those cameras that much. They have them right where they want them, but when they do, it kind of throws you off. By noon today, take a look at this. It's going to be breezy. We're going to have southerly winds that it will eventually translate or shift out of the northwest as a boundary pushes through. But ahead of that boundary, just an absolutely beautiful day. No clouds out there. Very mild temperatures as we go into the upper 60s and low 70s. We'll have the wind shift again out of the northwest overnight tonight, then eventually out of the northeast. It will be a little cooler tonight, but still warmer than normal. And that, look at where we are right now. 59 in Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh, and across the region temperatures are again very mild. We've got upper 40s, low mid 50s. We've got upper 50s in some of our southern counties out there. So that's truly a spring-like start to the day like we've seen here lately. So kids getting on the bus, no jacket required. 55, mostly clear skies, so maybe a cloud or two. South breeze gusting to 25. And as that boundary pushes through, winds again shifting out of the northwest, still gusting up to 25, but about 71 when that bus brings those kids home. And again, our highs today, upper 60s, low 70s. We are clear through the majority of the day. It won't be until after midnight tonight that clouds will begin to increase across the area. And they're going to bring something along with them, and we'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Crawford County Democrats organized a protest yesterday in relation to President Donald Trump's plans for mass deportation. Demonstrators came by the hundreds to exercise their right to protest. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
Energizing, invigorating, hopeful, optimistic are the words that just immediately come to mind. As you can hear, as you can see.
Recent actions by President Donald Trump regarding immigration policy have sparked unrest and protests all over the country. Pittsburgh, Kansas is no exception. Organized by the Crawford County Democrats, a protest began at the intersection of 4th Street and Broadway.
So Wednesday we organized. It was super ad hoc, impromptu get-together to happen Wednesday night, and there was a massive show of support. Over 200 people came and chanted. We talked about the kind of changes that we'd like to see in our society, and really just getting together and showing solidarity for the immigrant population here in Pittsburgh.
Protesters started marching down Broadway, chanting and shouting their beliefs to passing cars and pedestrians. Soon after, counter-protesters began to drive by and claim a spot across the street. One counter-protester, vice president of the Pittsburgh State College Republicans, explained why they showed up to make their voices heard as well.
These kind of protests, I just believe, are fighting against our system that we have in place here. We have always been accepting of immigrants. We've always been wanting people to come into the country the legal way. And when you have people protesting the idea that you can come in here illegally and take American jobs in manufacturing and agriculture, I just don't think that's fair to citizens, whether they're immigrants or not, born in the United States, doesn't matter.
Police were on scene to make sure things stayed under control. And although there were moments of tension, there were no outbreaks of violence. In Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
To find out more about the protest yesterday, you can visit our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. McCune Farm to Market and Flora Farms Produce partnered up to host an artisan bread making class. 9 community members attended the class, learning how to make dough and create their unique loaves of bread from one single versatile sourdough recipe.
I had in my mind to start teaching some of the things that it's pretty much our lifestyle. And now they call it homesteading. In the last few years, that's a newer term, but that's pretty much how my husband and I have lived for years, making a lot of things from scratch, and so I like to share it. I'm not gonna.
Artisan bread is homemade bread made in small batches. Well, a young man in Joplin, Missouri found himself in Los Angeles over the weekend for the Grammys. Now, he's not there to watch the award show. In fact, he's there as a nominee. KOAM's Anthony Saviello spoke with him and his mother about their excitement surrounding his nomination.
A wet, murky, gloomy day, but there's a smile shining through it all.
This is real, I can't believe it.
That smile belongs to Tristan Wilder Howlett, a 10-year-old from Joplin.
Yes. The steam engine.
Just like any other 10-year-old boy, he's got a room full of Legos and toys. But in the adjacent room, there's something else on display.
So it was a competition where they announced the words online, and when we found out we got this, they sent all of the words to the studio. And when I saw that I got this, I'm like, wait, how did I get this again? Oh yeah! The duet. The duet. Me and my partner.
However, these awards may soon have to make room for one more.
My mom was in the office, and she said, Tristan, you have a Grammy! And I'm like, what is a Grammy? I'm like, wait, is it? What?
I went up and watched the live announcement and did scream very, very, very loud. And the cutest part was he said, I already have a Grammy, because that's what he calls my mom, Grammy. So now he has a Grammy nomination and a Grammy at home.
Tristan's Grammy nomination comes from being a part of the original recording of The Shining Opera.
I was 8 years old at the time, and it was just so much fun getting to meet everybody there. It was just an amazing experience.
It's just one of the long list of projects that Tristan finds himself a part of.
Stay smiling. Also, I'm excited to see Don't Move in theaters. And then another film, a major motion that I did was My Heart Remembers.
But there is one famous franchise Tristan has his eyes on.
I also want to be in a Star Wars film.
He's a man of many talents, but his mother puts it best.
I would describe him as a young Renaissance man. He is capable of being an engineer, being an actor, appreciating poetry, classical music, playing baseball, and, being a normal kid and building.
If you don't believe her, well, he's got the Legos to prove it.
Yes, I like to build with Lego a lot.
In Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
To find out more about his story, just visit our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Pitt State Hall of Famer gets to coach, and the SEC will have the details. Plus, a rare Mercedes-Benz Silver Arrow sells for $48 million at an auction in Germany. And we have a warm and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The past 7 months have been just a wild ride for former Pitt State defensive coordinator Nate Dreiling. On July 2nd of 2024, Dreiling was named the interim head coach for Utah State after the firing of head coach Blake Anderson. Fast forward to January of 2025, Nate Dreiling named the defensive coordinator at Arkansas State. And less than a month later, the Pitt State Hall of Famer is on the move again. Nate Dreiling will join Brent Venables' staff at the University of Oklahoma. He will serve as the Sooners' inside linebackers coach. Dreiling has been coaching for the past 10 years. 2 of those years included serving as the Pitt State defensive coordinator from 2018 to 2019. Missouri Southern baseball begins the season right where they left off. The Lions spent the weekend in Hot Springs, Arkansas, playing the Dugan Invitational. Southern is already 2-0 to start the year, and the Lions wrap up the weekend with another win. Missouri Southern beats Waukeeta Baptist 5-2. Southern sweeps the weekend and improves their record to 3-0. Home opener is set for this Friday at Warren Turner Field. First pitch is scheduled at 1 p.m. And Missouri Southern softball completes the weekend at the Branson Leadoff Classic. Lions lose 2-0 to Maryville, but then Southern bounces back to beat Oklahoma Baptist 5-3. Meanwhile, Pitt State baseball completes a perfect weekend. The Gorillas are 3-0 after a big 11-2 win over Metro State. What a weekend it was for Caden Williams, who goes 3 for 3 on Sunday with a homer and 5 RBIs. Pitt State's home opener is this Friday at 2 o'clock in Pittsburgh. And Pitt State softball going 3-2 on the weekend. The Gorillas wrapped up the D2 first pitch invitational. Gorillas beat Midwestern State 6-0. The Frontenac alum Heather Arnett keeps doing her thing. She goes 3 for 3 with a triple and 2 runs scored. And we're officially less than a week away until Super Bowl 59 from New Orleans. Kansas City Chiefs will be playing in their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Chiefs have become the first team in NFL history to appear in 5 Super Bowls in the last 6 seasons. The Kansas City Chiefs have touched down in New Orleans. The team has a week to prepare for the big game in the Big Easy. This is the 2nd time in franchise history that the Chiefs will play in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, the first being back in 1970, where Kansas City beat the Minnesota Vikings to win Super Bowl 4. You can watch Super Bowl 59 next Sunday over on Fox 14. Well, still to come, Gerber is recalling and discontinuing their teething sticks due to a choking hazard. Plus, it's really, honestly, February. No, it doesn't feel like it. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about some changes later on when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:17 now on this Monday morning. And again, I swear it's February. I know that certainly hasn't felt like it the last several days, but it really is. And unfortunately, as we head into next week, we're looking to get an unfriendly reminder that it is February. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. As for today, though, no clouds, sunny skies. We have a cold front that's going to push through. Now, thankfully, temperatures will not plummet back behind this front, but it will be a bit colder over the next couple of days than what we've seen. Let's see, late tonight into tomorrow. Clouds increase after midnight. Winds will shift out of the northeast towards sunrise tomorrow. And you can see what I'm talking about. Our temperatures, most of us right about 40. That's an average, but we're looking anywhere from the low 30s, mid 30s, upper 30s, and same into the 40s, low mid 40s out there. But it is going to be colder, but still technically warmer than normal as we start our Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, we're looking to be mostly cloudy. Isolated shower chances will start building in by late morning, early afternoon. Not widespread rain necessarily, but again, a few sprinkles here and there will be possible. And with the cloud cover and just the passage of that boundary, that cold front, it is going to stay kind of somewhat chilly on our Tuesday. We're going to be into the 50s. That's still above normal, but not as warm as it's going to be today. We go into Wednesday, then we'll see a few more scattered showers out there. Still scattered, not rain everywhere all at once, but we will start to warm back up again as winds shift back out of the south, and we start to see spring-like temperatures as we go into Wednesday with some of those rain chances and skies eventually clearing a bit as we head into our Thursday with more rain coming into this weekend. We're at 59 in Joplin right now. South breeze at 20, gusting upwards of 29. Of course, it's warm enough, not really having to deal with a wind chill, but it is quite breezy, and it will remain that way today, tonight, and at least through tomorrow. Do have some cooler spots in our northwestern counties. We've got some upper 40s, Yates Center and Iola. A little colder, Sedan, 43. And then you start heading south and east, and we get a little warmer, and we get temperatures low, mid, and upper 50s out there. As we just mentioned, I mean, Joplin, it is 5 a.m. in February, and it is almost 60 degrees outside, which is just wild. As we get our day underway, mid-50s to start, clear skies, breezy, 66 by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of highs into the upper 60s and low 70s. This is more like a late March, early April forecast. And northwest winds, eventually northwest winds, gusting to 25. So they'll be out of the south. That cold front pushes through, and they'll shift out of the northwest back behind it, but they'll still be breezy regardless of which way they're coming from. Through the evening, clear skies continue. It won't be again until after midnight that clouds will really start to increase. About 40 with those northeast winds now gusting to 20 because they'll continue to swing around on us. Then we go into Tuesday, and they'll now be east winds gusting upwards of 20. Some isolated showers, mid-50s, warm again Wednesday, then cool again Thursday into Friday, but still above normal with those rain chances. This is what I'm sure folks are probably talking about. You're probably hearing about. Next week, temperatures start falling below normal, and long-range data shows some snow potential next week. It shows at least 3 possible rounds of snow between next week and the end of this month. We're a long ways out, a lot to keep an eye on, but just a heads up, we may see an unpleasant return to wintry weather as we head into the next work week. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. A baby food company recalls and discontinues teething sticks over potential choking hazards. Gerber says the recall affected its edible teething sticks called Soothe and Chew. The recall is only for the strawberry, apple, and banana flavor teething sticks. The company says it has received a customer complaint about choking and one report of a baby going to the emergency room because of the product. Now, it is working with the Food and Drug Administration on the recall. Customers are urged to stop using the products immediately and contact the place of purchase for a refund. Well, a mom's health during pregnancy may not influence her child's risk of autism. The study in the journal Nature Medicine had researchers analyzing more than 1 million pregnancies in Denmark, and the woman's medical records were checked for more than 1,700 conditions to see if there was a link. Now, out of the 1,700 conditions, researchers only found solid links with 30 of those conditions. Next, the team compared the pregnancies that resulted in a child with autism to the pregnancies of their siblings, and found the only factors involved were complications related to the fetus. Study authors urge further research in this area to confirm their findings and better determine any possible links between a mom's health and a child's autism risk. Well, for the first time in more than 25 years, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has signed off on a new type of pain reliever. The newly approved medicine is billed as non-addictive and an alternative to opioids, which are frequently abused and have led to a national overdose epidemic. Mandy Gaither has more on how this new medicine works and how much is expected to cost.
It's a new kind of painkiller that's now FDA approved. The drug, which will be sold under the brand name Journavx, is a 50 milligram prescription pill that's taken every 12 hours after a larger starter dose. The drug maker says the medicine creates no euphoria or high like opioids sometimes can, so doctors believe there's no potential for it to lead to addiction or dependence.
It's a totally new class of medication for pain, particularly for acute pain.
Dr. Jinhua Ching with Cleveland Clinic says that type of pain is usually caused by surgery, injury, illness, or some other trauma. About 80 million Americans fill prescriptions every year for medications to treat new moderate to severe pain, according to a study from the drug maker. Right now, the company says about half of those prescriptions are for opioid medications.
Not everyone needs those potent opioids, even with moderate to severe pain. a large majority of patients need a weak opioid. And this drug is as good as weak opioid. So therefore, it can be very useful.
While opioid medications dull the sensation of pain in the brain, the new drug is a sodium channel blocker and works by preventing pain signaling nerves around the body from firing in the first place. The drug maker says it set a wholesale cost of about $15.50 per 50 milligram pill and says patient assistance programs will be available. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A doctor stressed that the new drug may not be right for everyone or for every type of pain. The chief operating officer for the drug maker says it doesn't eliminate all pain, but reduces it by about half. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOA Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another very warm and windy day out there. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the Neosho ArtCon brings together lovers, video games, cosplay, and sci-fi.
And we've got ourselves a very warm and windy day out there, very spring-like. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Joplin Public Library kicks off Black History Month with a Black History Fair.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It's February the 3rd. We mentioned this early. It's not March or April or even May the 3rd. No. Even though it certainly feels like it this morning.
Really does.
Not that we're complaining. I want to make that clear. Nobody's
please.
complaining, I don't think, about these warm temperatures, but just don't want anybody at home confused.
Right.
You don't want to wake up and be like, is it really? You got to check the calendar. You don't need to check the calendar. It is February, and unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, we're probably going to have a very less than pleasant reminder that it's February about a week and a day from now. We'll see how it pans out. Things change every second in the weather here in the 4 states, but we could have some wintry weather about a week from now. But until then, enjoy the spring, because that's what we're going to have today. Let's take a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Our camera there, and it is again looking pretty good. It's dark, of course, because the sun hasn't come up yet, but it'll do so in its own time, and when it does, it will show us clear skies and beautiful weather across the area. Now we'll switch over to our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin, also looking pretty good this morning, as is the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line, looking back to the east. Looking great this morning as well. It almost feels a little humid outside, a little muggy. Not like, no, I guess that's not the word. You can smell the rain. You can smell moisture in the air. You know what I mean. And the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh on 69 East 520th Avenue. Now looking back to the south and west, looks good as well. As we end the afternoon, look at these temperatures. What is this? This is March. This is April. It is not February, but that's what we're getting. But see the wind shift line? We have a cold front that's going to come through this afternoon. Now, the good news is temperatures won't plummet back behind this front, but the winds will begin to shift, and it will ultimately be a little cooler as we go into the overnight hours tonight and into our Tuesday as well. But ahead of that, though, great weather. 59 Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh and around the region. Take a look at these temperatures. Again, we have some cool spots. Today, for example, at 42. But the rest of us, we've got upper 40s, low 50s. Then you get into the upper 50s. Now we've got 60 in Grove and Jay as we're getting this day started. So kids getting on the bus, no jacket required. A few clouds possible, otherwise mid-50s. South breeze gusting to 25. And eventually for all of us, those winds will begin to shift out of the northwest as that front pushes through. Still gusting to 25. Highs today, upper 60s and low 70s out there. So a beautiful day. Clear skies all the way through until about 11 o'clock tonight. Clouds thicken up after midnight, and then rain chances increase. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, 25 years ago, 2 16-year-old girls went missing from Welch, Oklahoma. It's a cold case that's outlived 2 of the 3 suspects and is now making waves in the Oklahoma legislature. Now this week, for a second time, Representative Steve Bayshore is attempting to pass Laura and Ashley's Law. House Bill 1001 would require individuals convicted of accessory to murder to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The legislation addresses the reduced prison sentence of Ronnie Busick, who in 2020 was sentenced to to 10 years in prison, but because of good behavior and time credited while in county jail, Busick was released after just 3 years in prison back into the area where he committed his crimes and where family members of the victims still live.
Lorraine has made it very clear. We know this law won't bring back the girls, but Lorraine wants to make it very evident and make it very clear that she does not want this to happen to another family to ever experience what she's going through right now.
Larry Bible's mother, Lauren, has been a part of the investigation since day one, and she still hopes to one day find the bodies of both her daughter and Ashley Freeman. Tonight on KOAM News at 10, Tanya Bach investigates Lauren Bible's tragic connection to the Freeman family. Plus, we reveal the evidence that finally brought this cold case to the courtroom. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. ArtCon was held at the Neosho Junior High School Saturday. The convention revolves around all things pop culture like movies, video games, and more. Vendor booths were set up in the gymnasium and panels were scheduled throughout the day with different guests. Now, one of the main reasons that this convention is very successful is because of like-minded fans that dress up as their favorite characters.
I've made a lot of friends at all of the cons that I've been to, and I really enjoy that, and I wish I could have more of that in my daily life. So this is really nice to be able to come out here and be with people who have similar interests.
One of the guests at the convention was Tony Amendola, who is famous for his roles in Stargate and Once Upon a Time. The Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center hosted its first February program Saturday, titled Suet and Songbirds. Attendees could make homemade suet cakes for birds to eat, and they also learned about winter birds like cardinals, blue jays, woodpeckers, and how the plants and the environment affect them.
I hope that people, whenever they leave today, know a little bit more about our birds that we get to see in the winter time, which is so cool to get to see them. And also, you know, those suet cakes that they take home, I hope that means they get to see birds in their own backyard as well, because winter time, we tend to like to stay inside during the winter, but it's really fun to get to see those birds and wildlife still come to your backyard, even though it's not as pleasant to be outside.
The suet cakes they made were from peanut butter, lard, birdseed, and cornmeal. February is Black History Month, and Joplin Public Library hosted its Black History Fair. This year's guest presenter was Kenya Ajunku, a storyteller and drummer who specializes in the folklore of Africa. The library also set up tables with reading recommendations, and booths were set up for the Joplin NAACP, George Washington Carver National Monument, Easttown Dreams District, and more.
I think it would be good for the local people to understand that Black history is history. It doesn't necessarily have to be separated from history, because we are ingrained in the history of America also. And so it's just good for people to know that what you've been taught sometimes is not the only thing that's the truth.
Well, this marks the 5th time that the Joplin Library has held a Black History Fair. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Trucks arrive at Rafah's border, allowing medical aid to reach Gaza under the ceasefire deal. Plus, Canada and Mexico respond to President Trump's new tariffs. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, a rare Mercedes-Benz Silver Arrow racing car sells for $48 million at an auction in Germany Saturday. The exclusive vehicle W196R dates from 1954 and is one of the few fully preserved models in existence. Mercedes-Benz says the Silver Arrow on the block was put through its paces by two famous racing drivers in the 1950s. Juan Manuel Fangio won the Argentine Grand Prix in Buenos Aires with the car. Mercedes-Benz donated the car to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum in the U.S. In 1965, the museum plans to use the proceeds from the auction to renovate its facilities and to expand its collection. Well, trucks are seen at the Rafah border crossing after it was closed for nearly a year. Palestinian health authorities in Gaza say the long-shuttered crossing with Egypt reopened on Saturday, which will allow thousands of Palestinians to receive medical care. Israel closed the crossings in May after seizing it during an offensive, while Egypt shuttered its side of the crossing in protest. The reopening of the crossing is a significant breakthrough for the warring parties. Israel agreed to reopen it after Hamas released the last living female hostage held in Gaza. Phase 1 of the ceasefire agreement calls for the release of around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and 33 hostages. It also requires humanitarian aid to be let into the territory and the return of Palestinians to northern Gaza. Newly implemented tariffs from the Trump White House drawing quick responses from all of the countries involved. Canada, Mexico, and China threatening to put their own taxes on American exports. The situation now threatening to boil over into a full-blown trade war, though the president insists it's in America's best interests. Lucas Tomlinson has the latest.
Swift reaction this weekend to Trump's new tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China, with those countries now firing back with levies of their own. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing new 25% tariffs on more than $150 billion worth of American products, while making it clear that was not his first choice.
If President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke on Saturday, though there's no indication the two leaders are coordinating their responses. Mexico has threatened tariffs of their own, but hasn't offered specifics. A trade war could devastate their economy. The U.S. is by far their most important market. China vowing to take corresponding measures, but hasn't said exactly what they will look like. Trump says the tariffs are meant to punish all three countries for the flow of illegal drugs and migrants into the United States. Most Republicans so far are backing him up.
I am glad we're putting everybody on notice that the old way of doing business is over.
But economists fear they will raise prices and send the stock market spiraling. Democrats say Americans will soon feel the impact in their wallets.
Higher prices for energy, higher prices for groceries. You'll start to see it within the next couple of days.
Trump acknowledged on Truth Social prices could rise. The new tariffs go into effect beginning Tuesday.
That's a look at World Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:46 and it is Monday and it is still February. Well, it's only been February a couple of days, but it feels like we went from January into April with the weather we've had. Not that it's a bad thing, but it has been unseasonably warm to say the least. It's one thing to be a few degrees above normal, 5, 6, 7 degrees above normal. Something else to be 20 to 30 degrees above normal. We're going to have another day just like that. However, slight changes on the way, at least for this week. By this afternoon, we're going to start to have a cold front coming through. There's really no precipitation or anything associated with this boundary as it pushes through, and our temperatures will not plummet, but it will get cooler on the backside of this. So ahead of that boundary, we're going to have southerly winds gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. On the backside of it, we'll have northwesterly winds gusting to that same level. But as you can see, even on the backside, temperatures again don't plummet, but they will be chillier tonight. Eventually, we're going to fall back into the 30s and 40s overnight tonight. And after midnight, and it's very bizarre how quickly this happens, but I'm dead serious. We're going to go from crystal clear skies at like 11 p.m. and by 12:30 a.m., it's going to be completely cloudy, at least mostly cloudy out there. It will move in very quickly. We go into our Tuesday by late morning into the afternoon. Some isolated to widely scattered showers. We're also going to be cooler tomorrow. We'll have northeast winds eventually transitioning out of the east, still gusting upwards of 20, and our temperatures, besting in the 40s and 50s tomorrow. So a big drop, still above normal, but a very big drop compared to what we've seen the last few days. Then as we go into Wednesday, because Mother Nature loves to torture people, I think. We're going to start to warm back up. Now we're back into the 60s again with more scattered showers throughout the day on Wednesday and a southerly breeze. And then we get some clearing as we go overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Let's take a quick look at just temperatures around the region. We do have still some colder temperatures. It's 42 in Sedan. That's been the colder spot all morning. The rest of us, we've got 40s, 50s. We've even had the 60s this morning, which is just wild for February. We're going to be about mid-50s to start, clear skies, mid-60s by 11 a.m. Our highs today again, upper 60s, low 70s. Cooler tomorrow, 40s and 50s, then back to warm again Wednesday, then cooler again Thursday, then warm again this weekend with more rain chances. Then we head into next week, our temperatures back to normal, and then they start to drop. And we've seen it. We're talking about it. We're not there yet, but yes, snow is possible by the middle of next week. Now, at this point, I'll be honest, it's anywhere from 7 to 14 inches of snow possible from Tuesday into Wednesday. We're still several days out. A lot's going to change. Something else, though, is it looks as though this is one of possibly 3 snow events we may get between next week and the end of this month. So it's something we definitely want to keep an eye on because winter looks to remind us it is winter in the most unpleasant fashion possible. So we'll keep you updated on that. Until then, enjoy this 71-degree day today. Let's check your forecast. We will be back with more right after this.
An Indiana man is being called a hero. He used the tools of his rather odd profession to save the life of an 18-year-old and his dog. Griffin Gonzalez has the story.
David Fisher might seem like an ordinary Westfield dad, but you would never guess what David is known for.
I am a professional rope jumper.
This talent has taken him all over the globe.
I have 3 world records for jumping while seated on the ground, and I do performances all over the country.
He even writes children's books about a jump roping superhero called the Rope Warrior.
When he spins the rope fast enough, creates a shield.
But last December, David's fictional heroic stories became his reality.
The dog went onto the ice pond to chase the geese, and the dog is in the water, and it doesn't look like the dog can get out. The boy went in to try and save his dog, and he's treading water in the middle of the ice pond, screaming, I'm going to drown, I'm going to drown.
Without hesitation, David went to help.
I just instinctively went right for my bag of jump ropes and pulled out, the double Dutch ropes. I headed out on the ice pond, and as I start to go out there, I can hear the ice cracking underneath my feet. So I finally do arrive where I think I need to be. I sling the rope to him, and he grabs one handle, and bit by bit, we pulled him out of the ice pond.
The boy and the dog survived. Today, people are calling David a hero.
Where you understand what it means to put the needs of others ahead of your own.
Do you feel like a hero?
I feel like someone who just acted on instinct.
As David reflects on his own Rope Warrior story, he hopes others will follow his lead.
I would hope that, when cries go out, at least that everybody could do whatever it is that they might be able to do to help the situation.
Incredible story. Stick around. We'll be right back. Loveland, Colorado, perhaps best known for its annual Valentine remailing program, is at it again. Sweetheart City continues its mission of spreading love during Valentine's Day by mailing more than 100,000 Valentines across the globe. The city will receive thousands of letters from all 50 states and 110 countries. Volunteers and sponsors then hand stamp each letter with the collector's stamp and postmark before mailing it back to the sender. Lovebirds across the country must send their Valentine letter to the city by February 7th. This year's stamp artwork includes a poem and drawing of a child holding a heart. The tradition has been celebrated for 79 years, since 1947. The El Paso Zoo is welcoming an adorable new addition, a baby giraffe. Now, after a 14-month wait, the zoo announced the birth of the giraffe that's already nearly 6 feet tall. Now, is it a boy or is it a girl? Now, we don't know yet, but the zoo is planning a gender reveal soon. Now, for now, the calf is spending time with its mother, Gigi, in a private off-exhibit area to give them time to bond. It'll be a few weeks before the calf is ready to greet visitors. People can keep up with the new arrival by checking out the giraffe cam on the El Paso Zoo's website.
That's crazy. That giraffe's a baby and it's already taller than I am. Like, what is... I've apparently missed out on life. I don't understand. But that's all right. I was also thinking of SpongeBob, where they're blowing balloons, and SpongeBob blows an elephant, and Patrick is just sitting there laughing, going, oh, it's a giraffe. I'm not going to do the voice, but he goes, it's a giraffe. That was a giraffe. And that giraffe will be tall enough to experience slightly nicer temperatures. It's going to be great today. Clear skies, mid-50s to start, mid-60s by this afternoon. Our highs today, upper 60s, low 70s. Winds eventually shifting out of the northwest, gusting to 25. They'll be out of the northeast overnight, gusting to 20. Now clear through the evening. Cold front pushes through down to about 40, and clouds increase after midnight. A little cooler tomorrow. Isolated showers, few scattered showers Wednesday. Warmer, more rain chances by this weekend. We'll be back with more after this.